What about the broader implication for the left and the Democrats? I mean, this anti-Sydney Sweeney crusade isn't really going to help them win back young men who they are hemorrhaging. And I love this story the Washington Post has just published. They've done a report on the Democrats and their trouble with men. And apparently some Democrat polling group did focus groups, and they found that the focus groups said that, and I love this, the only masculine role model in the Democrats anymore that anyone could name was Barack Obama. I mean, that's a pretty sorry state for masculinity in the Democrat Party, isn't it?
It is. And if you recall last year when they chose Tim Walz as Kamala Harris's running mate, they told us that his masculinity was, quote, terrifying. Tim Walz was absolutely terrifying, but not because he was the pinnacle of manhood, right? He was terrifying for other reasons. But they kept trying to tell us that him, Adam Kinzinger, these were the men that you should aspire to be. And not a single true masculine man relates to either of them. And it's because the Democratic Party has waged a war on masculinity for almost a decade. They've said masculinity is toxic. And we're talking about the idea that men should be the providers. It's not toxic. That's actually great. I speak as a woman to say it's great when men think they should be the providers, and I can focus on not having to go to work every day, right? So the left has actually shot themselves in the foot. They've done it to themselves. And all the Republican Party has done is simply say, hey, we're not going to crucify you for being a man. That's it. And that's how they've won men back to the Republican Party.
It's just unbelievable. Hey, but just speaking of the Democrats in the state that they're in, I love this story here that's just broken. Kamala Harris, you mentioned Tim Walz. Well, Kamala Harris, she's announced that she is releasing a book about her failed 2024 presidential campaign. Have a look at this.
I believe there's value in sharing what I saw, what I learned, and what I know it will take to move forward. In writing this book, one truth kept coming back to me. Sometimes the fight takes a while.
And Donald Trump was asked about this a few hours ago. Have a look at this.
I don't know. I think I'm going to buy it. I'd love to see it. No. I'd find it. Look, I find everything in politics interesting. I sort of enjoy politics. She wasn't a skilled person. You have skilled politicians, really skilled politicians, and then you have some that aren't. And she was put in a very tough position, I think.
I don't know, Brianna. The only thing I could think that might be in there are some word salad recipes. What do you reckon?
I'm actually curious to see what she includes in there, because the title of her book, 107 Days or whatever, it already tells us that this entire book is going to be her trying to explain that the only reason she lost this election is because she just didn't have enough time. She's going to completely disregard the fact that she was extremely unpopular, disregard the fact that she would not sit down for interviews for weeks. She'll disregard the fact that she probably would have had a much better chance at winning had she chosen Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania instead of Tim Walz. She's going to have to explain why she didn't choose Josh Shapiro. Could it have to do with the fact that he's Jewish and she was trying to appease the radical Islamist base of the Democratic Party? I don't know. So to wonder what's in this book is actually keeping me on the edge of my seat, because there are so many things we want to hear from her, and it's going to be none of the things that she actually tells us.
Well, Brianna, you said something really interesting there. You said that she's going to make the narrative about, well, she didn't have enough time. But she's now freed up her schedule, and people are talking about her maybe running again for president in 2028. What do you make of that possibility?
I don't know if there is an appetite for her again. Remember, this is someone who ran one of the costliest campaigns. $1 billion is what they spent. They actually went into debt. So it's going to be very hard for her to look at donors, say, I lost every single swing state. The entire country shifted right. I became the first Democrat in 20 plus years to lose the popular vote, and you should actually back me one more time. I don't know how she would make that case, especially when there are people on the Democratic side, like Kentucky's Governor Andy Beshear, Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro, who are a little more moderate, they're a little more subdued, and they haven't had the massive failures that Kamala's had.
Brianna Lyman, love your work as always. Thank you so much, and check out her stuff on thefederalist.com.